Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Will Dickinson. We're here with the first video of the off season in college basketball. I've been on vacation this last week, and it's been a while since my last video. It's been a week since I posted my last video. So, wow, it's time. It's been a week since I last posted my video. So we're back here with a new one. And this is just a transfer portal update, people entering the draft, my thoughts on it. We're going to be doing an off-season series in a little bit, but this is just, I would be doing these, maybe once a week or so, just doing a transfer portal update, where players going, the top players, and everything like that. I can't believe it's the off-season, but let's just get into this off-season talk. Let's talk about the best players in the transfer portal. This is just a 24/7 source. Khalil Ware, from the 5-star guy coming out of college, coming out of high school, committed to Oregon, wasn't terrible, but he is now went to Indiana. That's a big pickup for Indiana. Indiana's ranked second best in the transfer portal so far, behind Arkansas. He goes to Indiana. That's a great pickup for Indiana, replacing Trace Jackson Davis. I think Indiana's after the guy from Harvard as well. So Indiana's going to have to rebuild after losing Trace Jackson Davis and Jalen Hood-Schifino to the draft. Khalil Ware can come in, and a guy who is thought to be a 5-star guy. He might only be there for 1 year, but he could reestablish himself and be a lottery pick next year. Great pickup in Indiana, and a big man that will be maybe the best player on their team. J.J. Starling from Notre Dame, he's gone to Syracuse to probably team up with Judah Mintz. That will be a great duo right there. J.J. Starling was one of the best freshmen in college in the ACC last year. Going to Syracuse, staying in conference there after Jesse Edwards is leaving Syracuse. New year, no Boeheim. Syracuse looking to establish themselves as a different team. We'll still see if they run that zone without Boeheim. But Syracuse gets a very good guard that can come in immediately and help. A real shocking one was L.J. Cryer, the Baylor guard, goes to Houston. L.J. Cryer averaged 15 points last year for Baylor. He was really, really good as a player. I mean, he averaged 15 points, 41% from three, one of the lead guards on this team. And this was a team with Keontae George and Adam Flagler, so he wasn't getting all the shots. So I thought this year LJ Cryer would be able to, take a way bigger leap at Baylor, but he's going to an in-conference team, which will be by the time they start the season, Houston. And Houston gets a big pickup. They're going to be losing Jarris Walker, Marcus Sasser, Tremont Mark leaves. This team is going to be a lot different, but LJ Cryer, is not a great defender. What is Houston known for? But I think he can establish himself as one of the best players in the country, and him going to Houston is just a great pickup for the Cougars. And Cryer now staying in Texas and staying in conference, but going to Houston under Kelvin Sampson. Jameer Nelson also goes to a Big 12 school in TCU, the son of Jameer Nelson Sr., Jameer Nelson Jr., Delaware player, one of the best players in the CAA over the last 2 years. He goes to TCU. They're losing Mike Miles. It's a good pickup for the Horned Frogs there and get a point guard. Brandon Murray was a great scorer at Georgetown, and I know you're not going to be knowing this guy because Georgetown was not a good team. He transfers to Ole Miss. Good pickup for the Rebels there, trying to, they have a new coach. They're going to be needing just, a revamp in this program, and he'll help that. Maybe the biggest name is Caleb Love, leaving UNC after making the Final Four 2 years ago. He's going to be a senior this year, and he's going to Michigan. Many thought Michigan was a team he could have gone to. Missouri was really the other team. He ends up choosing Michigan and Juwan Howard. It's a very interesting pickup. If you're telling me Michigan will make the tournament next year with Caleb being their best player, I wouldn't be shocked. But you could also tell me they missed the tournament and Caleb Love averages 10 points, and I wouldn't be shocked. Again, he averaged, 16, 15 points on the same amount of shots. So he's not an efficient player. They're losing Hunter Dickinson. They lost Buffkin. This team is going to look very different this year. Many people are calling for Juwan Howard to be fired. And now you're picking up a guy, Caleb Love, who's a polarizing player. But I like the pickup. I think Caleb Love needed to change scenery, and I'm excited to see how he can play in a new role at Michigan and see if he can be more efficient, be a smart shot, a better playmaker, because I think he might play the point guard role in this Michigan team next year. And it's just going to be excited to see him in the Big Ten, and could be an all Big Ten player, but he could also bust. Adrian Baldwin goes to Penn State, follows Mike Rhodes there from VCU. He was their best player for VCU last year. It's an amazing pickup for Penn State there. Not that surprising following his coach and Penn State. Maybe he can play the role of Jalen Pickett, who transferred from Siena last year. They're different type of players. I don't think he's as good as Jalen Pickett is, but if he can take that step for like Pickett, Penn State is trying to make the tournament for back-to-back years, which hasn't happened in a while. And it's an amazing pickup for Penn State and getting the VCU star. Khalif Battle averaged almost 17 points off the bench for Temple, goes to Arkansas, and you're going to see that Arkansas gets a lot of really good players there. They also pick up Tremont Mark, and I don't know much about Battle, but he's a great scorer. And with Arkansas losing Nick Smith and Anthony Black to the draft, and Ricky Council, they're going to need to reform this team there. They're keeping Trayvon Brazile after the torn ACL, which is huge. And Arkansas is going to be up there in my rankings, right? They pick up Tremont Mark, who is a guy who's kind of lost in that Houston scuffle. He's a lengthy guard there. Was playing the 3 for Houston last year with Sasser and Shed. He can shoot the ball. He had a lot of big time moments in games, and this guy's an underrated player. He was really that fourth guy for Houston this year, but I think he can take a step going to the SEC. And Arkansas has been killing the transfer pool. They're ranked as the highest team in transfers, according to 24/7 Sports there. And I mean, not surprised, they picked up a lot of really good players. Fardar's Amac goes to Cal. Was a guy who at Texas Tech just wasn't good. I think he quit mid-season there. Just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Was a really highly talented player coming out of high school. Goes to Cal, and we'll see how he can do in this program that's been really bad for a while. Jaden Epps, a freshman for Illinois, who had a really good start to the year, just wasn't as good throughout the end of the year. He goes to Georgetown. Good pickup for Ed Cooley. Georgetown's been good in the transfer portal. They ranked 5th overall in the transfer portal rankings there. And Georgetown's going to have to do a revival of the program now after what Ewing didn't do there. Sky Clark also left Illinois and went to Louisville. Another 2 guards from Illinois who going to teams that sucked last year is very interesting. Jamison Battle from Minnesota goes to Ohio State. Good pickup from Ohio State. We'll see if they get Bronny James. We'll see what Bronny James does next year. But Ohio State has a good recruiting class. And after not making the tournament last year, which was very surprising, they're looking for another good year. Jordan Minor, I've seen a lot about this guy because guess what? He's going to Virginia out of Merrimack. He was very good last year at Merrimack. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of college. I'm trying to go look at this guy. So he went to Merrimack, was a very good player there. Now he's coming for his 5th year at Virginia. Kind of like a thing that Jane Gardner did. This guy's gonna be a very good player. Trust me, I know he will be. I'm confident in the way this dude plays, for sure. Next up after, sorry, I lost my place. We got Coracy Reeves from Florida. He goes to Georgia Tech. Good pickup for the Yellow Jackets. Jalen Cook going to LSU is huge. Staying in state Illinois, this dude was a beast at Tulane, was their leading scorer, one of the best players in the whole American Conference there. Going to LSU, who had a very bad year this year, kind of a rebuild year for LSU after just losing a lot of players to the portal. They're having to rebuild, and they got a great player there in Jalen Cook who could really take this team to a tournament. Kirk Kriisa going to West Virginia. Good pickup for Huggins. there. A guy who was kind of not suspected to leave, goes to the portal, going across the country to West Virginia there, who made the tournament last year, trying to do the same thing. And Kirk Reese is a guy who gets under people's skin and is a great role player and can be the point guard for this West Virginia team next year. Another guy from Washington, Menafield, goes to Arkansas. So Arkansas is very active in this portal. Isaac Trott from Virginia, my guy, he goes to Creighton there. Creighton returns Baylor Scheinman, and now Andrew Nemhard is in the portal. So Creighton, that was unexpected, but they get back Scheinman, expect to get back Kalkbrenner. So this Creighton team is gonna be good next year. And adding a guy like Osmond Trout who can shoot, Isaac Trout who shoots the ball. That's a great pickup for them. Damian Dunn from Temple also goes to Houston, going to American there. We got Reese Dixon Waters, a really good player, 6-man guy. I think it was 6-man of the year in the Pac-12. He goes to San Diego State. So San Diego State needs to get more active in this portal because he just hasn't been. They lost. They're going to lose a lot of players this year, and getting a play like of that caliber who played already at a high level, going to San Diego State, who maybe can jump into that starting role because they'll be losing a lot of players, will be big. Of course, we got to go some uncommitted guys, and Hunter Dickinson is the number one player in this portal who hasn't decided. Again, he could come back to Michigan. I think they're going to have one last meeting to see if they can convince him to stay. You have teams like UNC trying to get in the mix there and run a two big lineup. But this is a guy who's been a dominant player for 3 years of college. We'll see how he can step up this year on a new team in Michigan. And if he can return, him and Caleb Love would be a great duo there. But that is one guy that everyone's looking forward. So with Taron Armstrong there, he's a guy who was a great player at CBU. So this dude really wasn't a guy who went to California Baptist. Not a lot of people thought he would go there. He's just been now really good. He was really good at California Baptist, and now he is in the portal there trying to go up in leagues, which is a smart decision to do. Max Absmith enters the portal. He's now kind of the crystal ball. Expects him to go to Texas. There would be a great pickup. Him and Tyrese Hunter would be an amazing duo at Texas after losing Marcus Carr there, and staying in state with Oral Robertson in Texas would be a great decision. Dalton Keats looks like he's going to Oregon. I think that is from I actually don't know where he's from. He went to, Northern Colorado guy. That would be a good pickup for Oregon. Sorry, I'm going to look. Graham EK was a really good player. Kind of missed all of last year due to injury. Looks like he might be going to Providence with which would be a great pickup for the Friars. Guy who was at Wyoming, made a tournament 2 years ago, was really good. Kane Shedrick's leaving Virginia. He doesn't really have a prediction right now, but whoever gets him is getting a great player. I see Duke's been looking at him. I've seen UNC, Louisville, schools like that, ACC schools are trying to get Kane Shedrick, and he was great in that last tournament game. Aaron Estrada has entered the portal there. That's just an amazing pickup for whoever gets him. He was a CAA Player of the Year from Hofstra, great scorer, a guy who will for sure make an immediate impact. TJ Bamba from Washington State looks like he's going to be going to Villanova there. And you still have guys like Nicholas Timberlake, who many people think he's going to UNC. Amir Abram from Ole Miss is transferring away. Harrison Ingram is one of the highest talented players there. Had high expectations going to Stanford. Now looking like he's going to go to Kansas. And if he goes to Kansas, that is an amazing pickup. After losing Jalen Wilson, Kevin McCullough, Kansas is going to need another guy to play the forward there. Jaden Bradley's entered the portal there with Javon Quinterly, expected to come back. He was a great guard throughout the season for Alabama, and he was a freshman last year. Could be really good. Joe Girard entered the portal after J.J. Starling's going to Syracuse. Just the portals where I love the portal because it's just You get all these players looking for new spots. Olivia Nkwahu, who had a great game against Duke in the tournaments in the portal. Jalen Hill from Oklahoma. There's all these guys who will make big impacts on different teams. Jared Bynum's in the portal. I could see him going to Georgetown, but they've got a lot of players there. He was a great guard throughout these couple years. Traore, who was supposed to, and Chance Westerly, who both had really big, big impacts in their freshman year at Auburn, who just didn't play as much as they wanted to, but still were impactful when they played. They are both in the portal there. I think Westerly might be going. I can't remember where I saw his prediction. I think it was another SEC school, I believe. And John Hugley, Pitt. So there's still a lot more players, but man, these are just the top ones according to 24/7. And man, I mean, let's talk about some players that are entering the draft before we get out of here on this first intro. Amari Bailey, not really surprised there. Sonogo's entered the draft for so Sonogo entered the draft for UConn, which is not that of a shocker. I don't know if he's maintained his eligibility. Perhaps not declared for the Indiana State focus on the process. Give myself every chance to even possible. I don't know what it says, but I don't know if he mentioned that. But he's declared for the NBA draft, and Donovan Clingan's back. So that is saying that Clingan will have a much bigger role on UConn. And Sonogo, Final Four MVP. He's going to the draft. He can somewhat shoot the ball, and maybe a team can take a look at him. He's kind of undersized for a center, but with his shooting capability that he's shown throughout the year, and if that can improve, he can definitely be a good NBA player. Azuolas Tubelis is declared for the draft there. A little surprising. I thought he may come back, but he had a really good year. He was an All-American player. For Arizona, great for there. If he can get more of a shot, could be a player. And that's kind of just the thing with these players in colleges. They're good, but if they can't shoot the ball, they're not going to be elite NBA players. And that might be a problem with Tubelis. Dylan Mitchell, a guy from Texas, declaring was a 5-star prospect. Just didn't play a lot of minutes, 17 minutes per game for him, but he's very athletic, could be a player. Anthony Black, not a shocker there, kind of announced yesterday. Terrence Shannon, from Illinois, had a great year, averaged 17 points there, but he will maintain his eligibility. Oh, no, he hasn't said that yet, so he could come back. We're not sure there. Cam Whitmore, 5-star guy, played for Villanova, was good, just not a great team, so it's kind of hard to see where his thing is, we don't get to see him a lot because Villanova was not good last year. We got to talk about Duke. Duke has been the main story of this offseason for a lot of reasons. Jeremy Roach is declared for the draft and maintaining eligibility. If he comes back, Duke will be my preseason number 1 ranked team, and it won't be close. I mean, you're going to have Kyle Flipkowski coming back, which was huge news there. This might be the front runner for National Player of the Year, depending on what Edey does. Derek Lively also went to the draft there. Dariq Whitehead went to the draft, but they're bringing in a lot of 5-star players. They're going to have Proctor. They may have Roach. They're going to have Flipkowski, and they're having all these 5-stars coming in. Duke is going to be there to be a preseason number 1 ranked team, and if I was ranking teams, which I will one time during this offseason at least, Duke might be my number 1 team. They probably would be my number 1 team in the country, especially if they get Roach back. But even if they don't get Roach back, I think I may still have them being number 1 team just because Flipkowski is back. And Kyle Flipkowski was one of the best players in the ACC. He was a finalist for my ACC Player of the Year. He was the ACC Freshman of the Year. And now he's coming back for his sophomore year, and he's only going to get better. I know losing Lively and Dariq sucks, but Mark Mitchell's back, Proctor's back, Kelsey's back. That's 3 players right there. Roach back, that's 4 starters. Then you bring in a guy like Caleb Foster, Jared McCain, Sean Stewart, guys like that who can just immediately make impacts as a freshman. And I know McBagbo decommitted, but that doesn't mean that Duke Duke will miss him, yes, but it's a smart decision by him, and I could see him going. I don't know what college he'll go to. I will see he'll probably pick like a G League Ignite or a Overtime Elite, play a team like space like that, because it's hard to go and commit to a college right before the season. like we'll see what Bronny James does. Chris Murray declared for the draft. Jordan Hawkins, Jaime Jaquez, Jalen Wilson, all these guys not really shockers. Jalen Pickett, Trace. I think he had another year of eligibility. Trace did, but decides to enter the draft there. And if he came back, Indiana might be a top 10 team. Lively declared. Case and Loss declared. Grady Dick. These are not really shockers there. Colby Jones did go to the draft there, which is a little surprising. Could have came back, I think. Yeah, he foregained his eligibility there. Could have came back and been a good player. Brandon Miller, going draft, not a shocker there. Nick Smith going. Jalen Clark did suffer that Achilles injury, but he has declared for the draft there. And if he didn't get injured, I could see this dude going up to the lottery, but we'll see how he goes after, getting a really bad injury. Mike Miles declared for a draft there. Keontae George, Jet Howard, Gigi Jackson, Jaquavion Smith. Not really all shockers there. Jarris Walker, Dariq Whitehead. Just guys like that, right? College basketball in the offseason is one of the most interesting times of the year, just for the sole purpose of all these player movements, and it's becoming like a free agency, which is it's kind of fun just to watch out. Uganda Unesu from Kentucky, he looks like he's coming back. Just guys like that who were stars in their role but can get bigger roles there. Caleb Mills going to Memphis was a great pickup for them, a guy who was really good before Florida State. Then went to Florida State, was on a bad team. Now he's going to Memphis, who could use a great player. DJ Horns in the portal. There's all these guys who are just Avery Anderson's in the portal there. These guys are Puff Johnson left, Hunter Salas left. Guys like Push Alexander. Man, it's like a free agency. Eddie Lampkin's going to Colorado, immediate impact player there. All these guys in the portal are just looking for new spots. It's like a free agency out there, and we're going to see a lot of different looking teams there, players in new places. And some people aren't a fan of that, but times are changing, and you need to become you don't have to become a fan, but you have to accept the fact that players are going to be leaving colleges and going to new ones for bigger opportunities or to get more playing time or whatever the impacts are. It's almost like a free agency, and you gotta get used to it because we saw these teams in the Final Four. Miami was a prime example. A team that was put together with transfers became one of the best teams in the country there. And you're going to have to win in college basketball by using the transfer portal. And I'm all for it. So that was my transfer portal update. Thanks for watching this video. I'll come up with a new one probably next week. Peace out. College basketball offseason, episode 1.